Hvad så, boys? I dag så skal vi simpelthen gå i gang med en serie, som er Sherlock Holmes. Jeg ved selvfølgelig, det handler om at investigate. Vi er jo ligesom ham her, hvad fanden er det? Detektiven her. Så ja, tænker jeg ellers bare, vi starter.
Holmes. Holmes, will you stop that?
Der er sgu en bjørn der.
You are utterly mad. Stop, Holmes.
Is that you, Watson?
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed
Det
me.
er ikke engang Sherlock Holmes, så.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded.
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate. Ah, Lestrade. What is it this time?
Så han har simpelthen sådan en sjette sans.
Well, here it is, and it's a good one, Mr. Holmes. A gentleman by the name of Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter, has been murdered.
A sailor, most probably.
What happened here?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you?
It's the only exercise I've had all week. A grateful client from Limoges sent me a vase collection this morning. I couldn't think of a better use for it.
You're out of your mind.
I missed 4 out of 10.
Given you were blindfolded, that was very good. Can I have a try?
Am I the only sane one here?
I suppose that Watson is right, Inspector. A little brain work would be preferable now. Do please tell us more about Black Peter.
Peter Carey, born in 1845 and 50 years old. An ambitious sort, he achieved much success in seal and whale hunting around Scandinavia. Retired in 1884 with a small fortune. He invested his money in a property called Woodman's Lee, near Forest Row in Sussex. It was where he lived for 6 years, and where he was found dead yesterday.
Has the investigation already begun?
Yes and no. In fact, this crime is so mysterious that I would prefer you to join me down there.
Give me half an hour to prepare, Inspector.
Take your time and join me there. I have to go through the yard first. The Medi men struck again.
What have they done this time?
They robbed a powder reserve. I'll meet you at Woodman's Lee, Mr. Holmes.
I should help Mrs. Hudson here. I also have several appointments that I must keep this afternoon.
I shall go alone then.
Så hvad skulle jeg? Investigate the murder of Peter Carey. Inspect the crime. Jo, men hvor fanden er det? Visit Baker Street. Okay, så det her er en... Okay, så jeg kan ikke... Okay, hvordan fanden... Så det er ikke sådan, han kommer ud.
This
Skulle da ikke den vej. Kan jeg ikke til derhen? Prøver vi
I
den.
cannot leave yet. I am not finished here.
Oh, what a mess! Oh, what a mess! What a terrible...
This is where my archive. I can always consult with it
Fanden er
if
jeg skal have
needed.
gjort? Skal jeg snakke med ham der?
You go along to Peter Carey's house. Mrs. Hudson and I will take care of the mess you've made here.
A map of London and the surrounding area. I cannot leave.
Hvad fanden er det, jeg mangler?
My analysis table. It is useful for my work. My archive.
Nej, det er det, jeg skulle lige glemme. Wardrobe. Altså, vi skal have ændret tøj på ham, eller hvad? Kom, vi tager bare lige sådan en black suit. Skal han sove, eller et eller andet? Hvad fanden? Skal jeg måske hente noget herinde? Nej. Jeg har det ikke. Nå, nu må jeg gerne.
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
Ja. Okay, så vi spiller alligevel Sherlock Holmes.
Inspector Lestrade, when will you remove my husband's body? It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can, Mrs. Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin, Mr. Holmes.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Så jeg skal vælge en ting her.
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of the murder?
At 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a terrible scream. I thought nothing of it then. He would scream all the time when he was drunk.
Can you please tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in such a terrible temper. Usually whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing out.
Wait, og så har vi kun den sidste mulighed her.
Do you remember at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock, I noticed the cabin door was open, but I didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I dared to glance in through the door and... oh dear.
Så havde han nogen besøgende.
Was your husband accustomed to receiving visitors?
Oh no, I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really have many friends. He lived quite an isolated life here, after his retirement.
Yes, så har vi ikke flere svarmuligheder. Hvad fanden? Hvad sker der her? Så kan jeg lige se nogle spor, eller hvad sker der? Et eller andet smykke. Der er endnu en smykke ting. En bog. Yes.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes, life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh my goodness, but how do you know about that?
Jeg troede forkert.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes. Life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh my goodness, but how do you know about that?
You undertook a pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when you were young. That much is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth. I believe that you met Peter Carey as a young sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
That is indeed what happened, Mr. Holmes. How extraordinary.
Thank you, madam.
Hvad skal vi så nu?
Mr. Holmes?
Who could do such a thing? My poor husband.
Te. Ui, så har vi lige...
Peter Carey's body is inside the cabin. Mr. Holmes?
Så skal vi ind og se livet.
The door is locked.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah, good thinking.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see. These scratches are fresh. You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Our mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job. This lock is not a difficult one.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool.
Så er vi inde.
What a terrible way to die. The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the blow was immense.
Ja, det ser sgu ikke helt rart ud.
The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the blow was immense.
Så vi kan...
This man is in his
face.
50s, yet he still looks quite strong.
Med hans arm kan være
Peter
klart.
Carey was fully dressed. He was not caught by surprise. It is possible that he knew his murderer. Peter Carey was impaled to the wall by a whaling harpoon.
Blood.
JHN are probably the initials of the JHN are probably the initials of the owner of this notebook.
Ja, men kan man åbne den?
The pattern of the blood stain indicates that the notebook was not lying on the floor prior to the crime, but it was dropped into the pool of blood after the death of Peter Carey.
Åben.
These abbreviations mean something, but what?
Der er en kniv simpelthen også.
This blood is from the pool underneath the dead body. This wooden handle is plain and solid. Peter Carey tried to defend himself with this knife, but he did not succeed.
Nej, det...
Someone drank from this glass recently. Someone drank from this glass recently. The initials PC have been crudely burned. A sailor's work. This aroma is familiar, but to recognize it, I must construct my associations in one picture.
Det næste her, det skal forestille et skib gå ud fra. Hvordan fanden skal jeg gøre det? Ja, det forstår jeg ikke helt.
This is a coarse tobacco, quite strong and very popular among sailors.
What? Jeg kunne sgu da ikke få den så langt. Nå. Okay, så.
Rum, a sailor's drink. It seemed that Captain Carey was enjoying a drink before he met his death.
Hvad er der ellers lige at investigate? Er der noget hernede?
Old navigation instruments, nothing interesting. Peter Carey's boots. They look to be a size 8. The murder weapon was probably taken from this rack. The tooth of a sperm whale, probably from one of Peter Carey's catches.
Jeg ved ikke, er der mere ved hans body, vi kan tjekke?
The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Hammerfest. Dundee. It's a whaling map. It seems that the garden was well maintained. It seems that the garden was well maintained. These boots don't match the footprints.
Så ved vi det.
These footprints appear to be quite large.
der ellers vi kan kigge efter her? Så det er noget på shelfen. Hvad fanden var det, de gik ind i der?
The two. The Sea Unicorn. She was the ship that Peter Carey commanded.
Men hvad fanden lavede jeg lige der? Jeg forstår ikke, hvad det er, jeg laver.
Someone was here yesterday. They attempted to force the door to gain entry.
Well, Mr. Holmes, what do you think?
I think that we are lucky.
And why is that?
Because of last night's attempted break-in.
Oof, you've lost me.
It is very probable that whoever came here hoped to find the door open. They tried to force it with a knife blade, but they failed. What will they do? Why, return tonight, when they will be better prepared.
Aha! So what do you propose?
We shall remain on the outside, near the window, where we stand the best chance of catching sight of our visitor. Well, gentlemen, ready your pistols. We have a long night ahead of us.
Boys, jeg tror det var det for første episode af Sherlock Holmes. Det var faktisk ret svært. Altså indtil videre synes jeg det er lidt svært, men jeg kender så heller ikke noget til det her spil overhovedet. Tak fordi I har set med. Husk at like og subscribe. Sig til hvis I gerne vil se mere af sådan nogle let's plays her. Vi ses.